Okay, so the last thing we need to do is hook up this button so that when we submit the form, we reach out to Firestore and we update that record in the database. So to do that, we'll be using this edit smoothie method over here. This is where we'll be linking up to our database. Now this edit smoothie method is going to be very much like the add smoothie function in the add smoothie component. There'll be some little differences which will change, but it's mainly the same thing. We're reaching out to the database and we're updating a record. Okay, so let's go into add smoothie, and what I'd like to do is just grab all of the contents inside add smoothie. We'll copy this and we'll paste it over here. Now we're going to walk through this function and we're going to change anything that we need to. So first of all, what we're doing is checking if this .title exists to make sure there's a title in the field on the page. Now again, title doesn't exist in our component. It's stored on the smoothie object, and that's what we bind it to in the title field up here. We say smoothie.title. So we just need to change this to this.smoothie.title. Okay? So we're setting the feedback equal to null if that exists. That's fine because we have the feedback right there. Then we're creating a slug. We're saying this.slug, which doesn't exist yet. So what we'll do is we'll say this.smoothie.slug, not moothy, smoothie. And we'll set this equal to this.smoothie.title, like so. And we'll keep all of this stuff the same. Now, because we're using Slugify right here, what we need to do is import that up here. So import Slugify from Slugify, like so. Okay, so now we can use that. We're creating our slug and attaching it to this.smoothie, so we're updating that as well. Then we're reaching out to the database. Now we already have the database imported right here, so we don't need to import it again. And we're saying, okay, db.collection, grab me the smoothies collection. Now what we're doing here is we're saying we want to add something. Now we don't want to add a new record, we want to update a record. But we want to grab that record first, we need a reference to it. Now remember, we can grab a reference to a single record or a single document in our Firestore database by saying .doc. That grabs a single document. Then we pass through the ID of that document inside here. Remember, this is the auto-generated ID that Firestore creates for us. Now, when we reached out to grab our data initially down here in the created hook, we grabbed that ID from the document and we stored it on the smoothie. So we have access to it now. So what we'll do is pass smoothie.id in here to grab a reference to that smoothie inside the database. Okay, so now we don't want to add, we want to update this. So we use a method called update. And this also takes in an object as a parameter, and we pass through the different fields that we want to update inside this object. So first of all, we want the title to update, but we don't want it to be this.title, it's this.smoothie.title to grab the title currently stored on the smoothie. Then the ingredients will be this.smoothie.ingredients, like so, and the slug will be this.smoothie.slug, which we just updated right here. Okay, so now we've done this, it's going to update that record in the database. And again, because this takes some time to do, it's an asynchronous task, it returns to us a promise. Therefore, we attach this .then method, which fires this function when this action is complete right here. So same again, what we're going to do is push the user to the home page when it's done. So we say this.router.push, then the name of the route that we want to push them to or redirect them to, which is index, so that will forward them to that component. Again, we catch any error and log that to the console so we can see that if there is one. Okay, then we have the else statement down here. This is just in case they have not typed in the title and it's still null. Then we say you must enter a smoothie title. Okay, so that's the whole function done. So let's save this, cross our fingers now and hope that this works. So we'll wait for it to re-render. Then we'll change some fields on here. So I'm going to change this to Mario Mood, and then we'll change this to bananas. We'll also add a new ingredient, pineapple, and we'll delete mushroom. Okay, so now we'll update that smoothie. Hopefully this is going to update it, then redirect us to the home page. Now currently nothing's happening. So I'm just going to inspect the element to see if there's any kind of error, and we get smoothie is not defined. So let's have a look and see what we've done over here. Okay, and stupidly, it's because I've tried to say smoothie.id, and in fact, it's this.smoothie.id. We can't refer to the smoothie because it's this.smoothie to grab this thing right here. Okay, so let's save that again and see if this works. So jump over here and we'll do the same thing. We'll need to edit this again. I'll delete mushroom, change this to bananas, and add in pineapple. Okay, so let's update that. Oh, we'll change this as well to Mario Mood and update smoothie. Hopefully now this is going to work. Okay, so now it's redirected us to the home page and we see this updated smoothie right here with the updated ingredients. Let's just make sure that in our Firestore it's also updated. So if we go over here, it's going to load that for us, and we should see those documents over here in a second, and we can see down here we have now Mario Mood and the updated ingredients as well. So that's how we update data in Firebase. We grab the document and we update it by using the update method. We pass through an object into this with the updated properties, like so. Okay, awesome. So now we can list smoothies, delete them, add new ones, and edit current ones. This is your standard CRUD application, and by that I do not mean crappy. I mean you can create, read, update, and delete records. And many of the methods and approaches we've used here will be pretty much the same for other CRUD applications as well. Now, that's not to say there's only one way to do things. There's many different approaches, and this is just one of them. So now we have our application pretty much done. In the next video, what we'll do is take a look at how we deploy this to Firebase so we can see it working in action online.